Today, we are going over the best and worst perks augments inside of Black Ops 6 Zombies. If you're excited, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification to never miss a single video. Now, let's jump right into this video. So, the first perk we're going to start with is Juggernog. So, the first major augment upgrade for the Juggernog, it will increase your health to 150 to 300. This will also be good for survivability and staying alive and basically taking more hits. Probiotic is also one of my favorite upgrades I use for Juggernog. It's so good. The second major augment for Juggernog, which is called a turtle shell. So what this does is armor acts as a shield on your back. So when I turn around, as you see here, I'm taking shield damage other than HP damage. So which is good. So when they hit me from behind, the zombies is taking damage from my shield instead of my HP. But if you get hit from the front, you're still getting HP taken away as you should. If you get hit from behind, it will take your shield away like that. So for the third and final major augment for the Juggernog, this is honestly one of my favorite ones to use because after you get hit so many times by a zombie and nearby zombies that are surrounding you, once you get hit so many times, this will stun zombies. It's almost like Windows Wine. There we go. Once my armor gets depleted, the zombie will be stunned like that. And this also can be good for camo grinding or basically staying alive, trying to get to a different area as fast as possible if you're surrounded by zombies. So pretty much stun the zombies for a couple seconds and it's really good. The first minor augment upgrade for Juggernog, which is called Retaliation. So this will basically boost my damage when I'm low on health. So I'm going to let the zombie smack me a few times here, which we might be here all night. Then what I'm going to do is our health is low. Then we're going to do more damage just like that. And the second minor augment for Juggernog, which is called Hardened. Plates have more damage mitigation. So that means it's going to last longer and get more hits when zombies hit you from behind. As you see here, one plate armor lasts for a very long time before it completely breaks. Just like that. Durable plates slightly increase armor durability, which means your armor will last longer, which I don't think this is going to be the best choice, but it's actually decent. So the next perk that we are doing is Stamin-up. So the first major augment for the Stamin-up perk, which is called a Free Faller, becomes immune to fall damage. So if I basically jump off a building, I will take no fall damage, just like that. So if you're getting hit by zombies and you basically jump off a building, you won't take additional damage while hitting the ground. So for the first minor augment for Stamin-up, which is called Hard to Target, while tactical sprinting, projectiles damage is reduced. I'm guessing this means that if you're sliding toward a mangler, it will be reduced damage because manglers and parasites are the only ones that can really shoot you with any actual damage. So for the second major augment for the Stamin-up, which is Dasher, increased tactical sprint duration. So that means you can sprint for longer than the normal time. If you're in a bad predicament, that means you can just get out and run away from zombies more quicker and have that longer duration of sprinting. This can be really good for high rounds or even speed running, but for this one, but Dasher is the one I currently use right now, so it's pretty good. Now for the second minor upgrade, which is called Quarterback. This means you can actually use your equipment while sprinting faster. So if you're sprinting away from zombies and you want to throw a quick grenade, you can actually do that. So while you're just sprinting, you can just, just chuck grenades while you're sprinting. And this is really good for high rounds because you can actually maneuver around the map while throwing grenades, and it's very useful. Now for the third and final major augment for the Stamin-up perk, which is called Stalker. We can walk faster while aiming. This can be good for camo grinding and just basically moving around and just shoot zombies while you're continuously just moving around quicker, which is so convenient for this. I highly recommend using this one because look, as I'm aiming down sights, I can move a lot quicker and maneuver around more quicker around the map. So that means you can actually aim down sight and shoot more other than just sprinting away from zombies. If you're in high round, this can also be more useful. One of my favorites is going to be the final Stamin-up minor augment. This is one of my favorites, which is called Hot Foot, which if we get a kill with our lethal or tactical, we can sprint faster, just like this. So as you see there, we throw a Molotov and we got a kill with it. We can sprint super fast, which is very good for high rounds. This is honestly one of my favorites also, but you can use whatever you like. Now for my favorite perk, Speed Cola, aka Speed Fingers. So the first major augment for Speed Cola, it's recharging very quickly as we get a lot of multi-kills. Look at that. Look how fast that is. I'm gonna get more kills here, and it's gonna just keep going up and up. Depending on what field upgrade you're using, you're playing like co-op or trying to use healing aura to heal your teammates, or depending how your playstyle is, you can get your field upgrades a lot more quicker, so you can use whatever field upgrade to your advantage advantage to stay alive longer or help your teammates out. I think it's very useful depending what you're using. Now for the first minor augment for Speed Cola, which is called a Speedy Roulette. So once you hit the mystery box, it's going to let it to settle more quicker. So you get a gun faster just like that. So you're not waiting 20 years for that new weapon that you need. I really don't mind this one, but it's not the best. Now for my favorite Speed Cola major augment upgrade. This one is called a Classic Formula, which this allows you to reload much quicker. Speed Cola makes you reload quicker, but the Classic Formula makes it double the speed of reloading. It's actually so good, and it can also be good for camo grinding too. And also, you don't want to take 2 years of reload, so that's cool, I guess. Now for the second minor augment upgrade for Speed Cola, which is called a Quick Swap. This makes you where you can actually swap weapons faster. As you see here, it's more consistent, so I can quickly swap different weapons more faster, which is kind of really cool if you use 2 weapons, or it can be really cool for getting those camos done pretty quickly for 2 weapons because you're constantly swapping weapons really quickly and it's really fast. This one can be really good, but it's not my favorite on the list. Now for the third major augment for Speed Cola, which is called Phantom Reload. Weapon magazines are slowly refilled over time. So I have not used this kind of upgrade for Speed Cola, but it's actually kind of cool. So after, if you run out of ammo or you want to keep those reserves, as you see here, I have 463 ammo reserves. And if you wait a second, it's actually going to refill slowly. If you give it a couple more seconds here, that's actually kind of cool, not gonna lie. So if we shoot a weapon, we have 60 bullets right now. So once we shoot, we have 49 bullets. So watch a couple seconds later here, watch my bullets go up. We're at 49. Now we're at 60. That is, wait, that's actually pretty cool. Not gonna lie. I didn't think that was actually gonna be that consistent with bullets. So honestly, that might be a go-to perk upgrade, but I think that classic formula is still better because you can actually reload quicker. But after going over these specific upgrades for these perks, I actually might stick with Phantom Reload. It's actually kind of good. I'm gonna see if I can empty my clip fully here and see how much ammo we can get back. If we get the whole thing, that'd be crazy. So we have 11 shots. Okay, 26. Now we have, so 11 to 26, now to 41. Let's see what number it goes from 41. And it refills to 56. Okay, that's actually overpowered as hell. Now to 60. So that's actually pretty good. So for Phantom Reload, I would highly recommend using this one. Now for the next one, it's self-explanatory. If you go to a crafting table and you like using different score streaks like the sentry turret, if you actually place this down, which this one's called Fast Pitcher, which is going to be the third minor augment for Speed Cola, which is called Deploy Equipment Faster. Basically, you're just going to place this down and it's basically just more quicker. This can be really ideal if you like putting turrets down and other, just to deploy equipment faster overall. I think this would be really good for you. Now, PhD Flopper, aka the Bibbidi Bopper. So for the first major augment for a PhD Flopper is called a Gravity MD. Just falling from the heights creates an explosion. This can be really good if you're running from zombies and you're just surrounded. And basically, if you're trying to jump somewhere that's surrounding you by zombies, you can basically jump in an area, then it'll just explode all the zombies around you. So that can be really good for that scenario. It's all right, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Now for the first minor augment for PhD Flopper, which is called Environmentalist. Become immune to environmental damage while sliding. This can be very huge. So what this means is if cars explode or anything explodes around you, that means you won't take any damage. This can be really cool if you're playing Liberty because there's a lot of cars on Liberty Falls. So I would highly recommend using this one if you're playing on Liberty. So the second major augment upgrade for PhD Flopper is called Dr. Ram. The tactical sprint knocks down and damages base zombies. This one is a decent PhD Flopper upgrade, but I really don't recommend this because you're basically just running straight, ramming into other enemies with full force. And on high round zombies, I wouldn't really recommend that because if you're sprinting towards zombies and an explosion triggers, you're pretty much going to be dead because all the zombies will hit you at one time and you pretty much get one tap. So this one's not really ideal. So I really don't recommend using this. So for the third major augment for PhD Flopper, which is called PhD Slider, sliding into enemies can trigger explosions. This can be really good. I found this very useful on high rounds because if you're really low health, you can just slide into enemies and everything just explodes around you, and which is so cool. So if you just keep this momentum up and just keep sliding, it makes you pretty much stay alive. So I highly recommend this one. But PhD Slider is really good for using. I think it's really good. The second minor augment for PhD Flopper is called EOD Technician, slightly reduced height and distance requirements for explosions. So EOD Technician slightly reduces height and distance requirements for explosions. This one can match up with Gravity MD, which this allows you to slightly reduce height and distance from jumping off tall buildings or any kind of environment object. Then jumping from heights will create an explosion from using gravity MD. These are pretty good combinations if you want to use this, but otherwise, I would not recommend using this. Tribalogist, sliding distance and speed are increased. So that means the slide distance is very increased, which can also be good trying to get away from zombies. So you can slide out the way for a longer duration, and speeds are increased also as doing it. So I think this can be really good mashed up with PhD slider or gravity MD. So you can pretty much create your own kind of combinations, which is kind of cool. So for the first major augment for Deadshot Daiquiri, which is called a Deadhead, further increases critical damage. So this is actually very ideal for going for camo grinding and headshots. This specific major augment upgrade is very helpful for doing head damage and doing critical kills and doing as much damage as possible on higher rounds, because you're going against armored zombies, regular zombies, abominations, and manglers, and you want to do as much headshot and critical damage as possible, which Deadhead, Deadshot Daiquiri, it further increases critical damage. So you're going to do more damage while doing those critical headshots, which is actually very ideal for this. And I think Deadshot Daiquiri is one of the most important perks inside of the game because it makes you do more damage to the head on zombies. And it's very good for camo grinding, like I said. But if I had to pick one of the major augments, I would definitely pick Deadhead because it just further increases critical damage overall. And I think it's a very good major augment, but everyone's going to have their personal preference. That's all I got to say about that. So the first minor augment for Deadshot Daiquiri is called a Dead Break. This one can be easily one of my favorites because it makes it easy also for camera grinding, and it's also really good. Increased damage to armor pieces. This is absolutely huge and kind of annoying at the same time because once you actually play Black Ops 6 Zombies and you notice you're going against armored zombies, the armored zombies are just so beefy on high rounds, and having Dead Break as your Deadshot Daiquiri minor augment upgrade as Dead Break, it just increases the damage to armor pieces. This is so good because armored zombies are really beefy on high rounds, and I think this one is very good, particularly because it's so good of doing more damage to armored zombies. And I feel like when I was playing Black Ops 6 Zombies, going for camo grinding and just basically going for high rounds and actually trying to have fun, I think the armored zombies are pretty much that pretty much push you away of having fun because they're just so beefy as zombies in general. I think Dead Break will actually fix that problem because you're doing increased damage to armor pieces. And I think this is very ideal when you're playing this game because you're doing so much damage to armored zombies. And when you get to a higher enough round, there's a lot of these armored zombies all around you, and it's really difficult to even do a little bit more damage without this augment upgrade. But overall, I think that's one of the best minor augment upgrades that you can choose from. That's my preference, but you can choose whatever you want to choose. Now for the second major augment for Deadshot Daiquiri, which is called a Dead First. Deal double critical damage if any enemy is at full health. So what it means is if a zombie or any boss is at full health, you will pretty much do double critical damage if a enemy is low. So if a zombie or a boss is at full health, you're pretty much going to do double critical damage. This can be really good for new bosses that spawn in, but this is going to be, I think, between Deadhead and Dead First. I think these two are a great competition against each other, but I would rather choose Head Dead over Dead First. Dealing double critical damage with a zombie or a boss that's at full health, I think that's really good of getting multiple kills at once. But if you get a reload and the next zombie you shoot is already half health, that's not going to count as critical kills or extra critical damage because that zombie is not at full health. That's why I prefer Deadhead because it further increases critical damage even if the zombie is half health or lost health or you shot the zombie or it's at full health or anyways. So if you have Deadhead, you get that increased critical damage anyways. But with Dead First, the zombie has to be at full health to get that double critical damage. I would choose a Deadhead over Dead First because Deadhead further increases critical damage and you're getting critical damage overall at any moment when you have this augment equipped, because with Dead First, that zombie has to be or boss has to be at full health for it to do double critical damage. If you shoot zombies in a full crowd and line of zombies, and if you get a reload and the zombie's already half health, you're not going to do double critical damage to that zombie because he's already half health, or if a boss is half health. So that's why I figured that Deadhead is going to be better because it further increases critical damage no matter if the zombie is full health or not. Now for the second minor augment upgrade for Deadshot Daiquiri is going to be called a Dead Draw, reduced headfire spread. This is one of my favorites because if you're going for camos, I'm sorry if all these augments are toward camos because the camo grind is real in Black Ops 6 Zombies and that's where everybody's going to be working toward. And I think these camos really can set up your weapon to success because these upgrades are just so good, but it says reduce hip fire spread. So that means is if I'm shooting my pistol and I don't want to aim down sight, if I just hip fire, it's going to be more linear. You're going to hit more headshots. It's going to go all in different directions. It's almost like shooting a shotgun where you shoot a shotgun and the bullets fly everywhere. When the augment upgrade for Deadshot Daiquiri allows you to reduce hip fire spread, that means you can actually shoot more straight while hip firing without even aiming down sight. If you hip fire, you can hit more headshots and it's more consistent than without this augment upgrade because it just sprays everywhere and it's not going to hit as many headshots because you're not hip firing. So with this augment, you're more consistent with your hip fire kills than without it. It causes more hip fire spread when you shoot it from a hip fire because when you hip fire, it creates bullets that fly everywhere and other than aiming down sight where the bullets are more consistent. On the list, I think Dead Draw and Deadhead are a great combination for this. And for the final major augment for Deadshot Daiquiri, which is called a Dead Again, which is critical hits have a chance of adding a bullet to your magazine. I found this very helpful when shooting a lot of bullets towards a pile of zombies, getting those added bullets to your magazine, which you can just shoot longer and get more headshots, counting towards your camos, and obviously getting more points and staying alive more longer because you're getting bullets added to your magazine when you're getting critical headshots and being really consistent with it. You can shoot longer and get more kills. It's very good. I actually highly recommend using this one. It's actually really good and I actually really do like it. And I think it's one of the best ones to use, but it's your preference which one you want to use. It's honestly whatever you want to use. I can't choose for you. Using Dead Again for quite a while now, I think getting those critical kills on headshots and getting those bullets added to your magazine, I think that's really good. It actually makes going for critical kills actually fun because the more critical kills you actually have of hitting, it's a better chance of adding a bullet to your magazine, which is very good because you can just keep shooting, keep getting those headshots. You just rank up points, and the more you shoot, the more you can do get stuff done. Dead Again and Dead First is really good, but Deadhead is still one of my favorites to use. So I recommend that one the most. Now for the final minor augment for Deadshot Daiquiri, which is called Dead Set. Reduces gun movement while doing advanced movement. What this means is if you're going down the stairs trying to dolphin dive backwards or run backwards and do dolphin dive, trying to use the omni movement while trying to basically shoot zombies and get around the map more easier. Basically, you're not going to have it's going to reduce gun movement so you can actually get that point accuracy while using the omni movement. It's not ideal for me. I really don't really like it. I do find it very fascinating going for those crazy omni movement kills than just having those perfect kills because your gun movement is actually reduced while using advanced movement. And I think it's really good for that. But I don't think it's the best choice. I think the best choice for this is probably going to be Dead Break, which is increased damage to armor pieces because getting high rounds, doing damage, increased damage to armored zombies, that's really going to be good. And manglers and stuff like that, I think that's going to be really good for that. And Dead Draw, I think reduced hip fire spread. I think if you're a big SMG guy or a pistols guy, I think that Dead Draw is going to be the right perk for you to use for minor augments for Deadshot Daiquiri. Now for Melee Macchiato. This is probably, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is one of the funnest perks to actually use. And I thought this perk was kind of useless until you actually look up the upgrades and actually do them. They're actually pretty useful. I'm around like 20 plus. So the first major augment for Melee Macchiato, which is Espresso, which is increase the speed of melee attacks. I actually complained about how slow the Melee Macchiato punch is. And when you actually use the Espresso major augment upgrade, it actually speeds up the melee attacks so you can just use them faster. I think if you're a melee kind of guy, I think you're going to love this perk. And I don't think this is actually going to be really, it can be ideal, I guess, for boss fights because you can just punch zombies just in case you run out of ammo. But it's really fun using this augment upgrade because you can just, there's melee attacks in really quickly. And I think it's really fun, but I don't think it's the best, but you can use it just for fun and giggles. So the first minor augment upgrade for Melee Macchiato is called a Stick and Move. This one increases backpedal speed after a successful melee attack. So which means once we get a kill with Melee Macchiato, we'll be able to use our omni movement and run quicker, faster by backpedaling, which is moving backwards. So this can be really good if you're really liking trains of zombies and just punching zombies and just quickly running backwards. It can be a cool combination between Espresso and Stick and Move, but you can use other ones that actually fit your kind of playstyle. But these two are cool, but I don't see myself actually using these on everyday basis by playing Black Ops 6 Zombies. Now for the second major augment upgrade for Melee Macchiato, which is called a Vampiric Extraction. Heals a small amount of your health on melee attacks. If you actually use this build right, you can actually get unlimited health, which is actually pretty crazy. So if you actually go up against zombies on high rounds and if you keep meleeing them, it's actually really cool because if you get a melee kill, you'll gain a health back. So you're pretty much much trading health for HP, but you're getting it back. It's actually pretty sick. I thought melee Macchiato was gonna be like gonna be a pointless perk to use, but after using these upgrades for this perk, I think it's a cool aspect of how it can change your gameplay of using melee Macchiato, and I think it's very unique and very different from the other perks we've been using inside of this game, which is kind of cool. So if you're really good on melee builds, I think this is really fun because you can just go for melee attacks and just get the health back. The more efficient you are with this perk and actually to get those melee kills and get the HP back, I think it can be really good if you actually use this. Which I don't, it's a good perk upgrade, but I don't think it's the best out of the major augments. But after using these augments and upgrades for melee Macchiato, I found it myself having fun with this. I tried using this against the Abomination. It's kind of actually OP. I felt like I was playing Destiny 2, just using different combinations. I was actually just shooting the Abomination. Then every time he hit me and I got half health, I just meleeed and I got my HP back. And basically, if you just do that back and forth, you will eventually take pretty much no damage to the Abomination. So this can be really cool for using melee Macchiato because you can just punch it and just get that HP back. And it's a very cool of doing those combinations. And I think it's one of the coolest things for melee Macchiato, but you can use whatever you want to use. And my favorite major augment, which is going to be triple shot, which you can hit multiple enemies at once. This one is so much fun because you can hit multiple zombies at once, which is very good. And I think it's more fun that way because you're just killing way more zombies with this one punch. I think that's really fun to use that way. I think this is one of my favorites, which is called triple shot. And my second favorite, which will be the vampiric extraction. I think that is one of my favorites, the second best favorite because you can just keep getting the HP back. But triple shot is really good because you can hit multiple enemies at once, and I think it's really fun. But actually, now that I think about it, I think vampiric extraction and triple shot are probably the two best ones. So if I had to choose one of them, I think vampiric extraction is probably the best choice here out of melee Macchiato, which is crazy because triple shot is really fun to use, but vampiric extraction is very good for using. So if I had to pick one, it would definitely be the second option, which is vampiric extraction, because you can get your HP back just by meleeing, which is crazy. So the second minor augment upgrade for melee Macchiato is called strength training, which can one hit kill normal zombies for longer. I didn't really find this useful. I just punching with melee Macchiato, and it really didn't seem it was actually doing anything. I don't know if it does any damage, but it seemed like it wasn't really effective in my gameplay experience when hitting zombies still. So it looks like I think it sends zombies flying. The strength training is probably one of the weakest one out of the three of these, and I think it's still good. It can one hit kill normal enemies for longer. It's cool, but it doesn't really affect me as much, and it doesn't really do anything that too special to really impact the gameplay and actually force survivability, but it's all right. Now for hidden impact for the minor augment for melee Macchiato. Reloads a portion of your held weapon ammo on melee kill. This can be really huge. You can combine this with, if you actually get some kills with your melee Macchiato, it will actually reload a portion of your held weapon ammo, which is really cool. That makes it where you don't have to reload if you actually punch enough. So if you actually do it right, you probably won't have to reload ever again if you actually do this build correctly, because if you're punching and shooting and you're punching enough, you can basically get that ammo back in your reserves or your magazine, then you don't have to reload and just keep shooting. So that can be really good for this. But I think that the greatest combination you can do is probably vampiric extraction, and it's probably going to be stick and move. So you can actually get those HP back by just meleeing the zombies. And then you can quickly run backwards and sprint backwards and gain that momentum and basically go back in and do the same thing. And you can just go back and forth, and pretty much if you get too low of health, you can just basically sprint backwards real quick and then just go back in and just go for those melee kills to get that HP back. If you want to be a little risky, you can go for a melee kill. But if there's so many zombies, you can go down. So you gotta be about doing that incorrectly because you might go down. So for the first major augment for elemental pop is called Citrus Focus. Forces elemental pop to only trigger an existing applied ammo mod for a weapon. So that means if you get napalm burst or burn rods and you put it on that weapon, that means elemental pop will only trigger that effect on your weapon and nothing else, which is very good. I do like this for the major augments. Citrus Focus is really good for this, but there's other ones that can be very better. The Citrus Focus is a mid-major augment for the elemental pop, but it is good that if you want to use a specific ammo mod for your elemental pop, so you don't actually use other ones on accident. This one you can focus ammo mods on your weapon, which is really good. Vulnera Bean is slightly increased enemy elemental weakness and damage. So that means every ammo mod specifically on your weapon will do increased elemental weakness damage, which is really good. I highly recommend this one because it does so much damage on high rounds, and it's so good. So we have Imperial Peach, which is a major augment for elemental pop. It can trigger a random ammo mod when enemy hits you. This one is okay. It's self-explanatory. When a zombie hits you or a boss, it pretty much triggers a random ammo mod on your weapon to do damage with. It's pretty basic. It's not really ideal to use. I don't think it's really effective. Honestly, I think it's okay, but this one's mid tier. Basically, the minor augment for elemental pop, it's basically the same thing as in Pearl Peach, but Pineapple Blast grants a chance at triggering a random ammo mod when using equipment. So when you're using equipment, it's going to have a chance to trigger a random ammo mod when using equipment. It's kind of, they're both okay, but they're both mid. They're not the best things to use. You can use them however you want, but these are not really good at all. So the third major augment for elemental pop is my favorite, called Electric Cherry. This one is really cool. So reloading creates an electric damage discharge that damages and stuns nearby normal enemies. That more empty the magazine, the stronger the damage. When reloading, it's going to cause this electric around you to stun zombies around you, and getting out of scenarios that are really tough and claustrophobic to get out of certain areas, to get to a certain area, because if you use Electric Cherry, you're going to stun everything around you, which is cool. But the more empty your clip is, the more effect it's going to have. Then for the third and minor augment upgrade for elemental pop, which is going to be called Chill Berry, which slightly reduces all ammo mod cooldowns, which this increases the chance of your ammo mods actually activating and having a reduced time. I think this one's all right, but if you want your ammo mod to be triggered more frequently, I would use Chill Berry because it slightly reduces all ammo mods cooldowns. But my favorite is Vanilla Bean because it slightly increases enemy elemental weaknesses damage. So you're doing extra damage with your elemental ammo mod. And for the major, Electric Cherry is more better. So for the final perk we are testing inside of this video, which is going to be Quick Revive, which is major augment EMT. Reviving an ally allows them to keep all of their perks on their bleed out bar. This one is pretty decent. I just had a buddy of mine pretty much equip the same one because it shows the perspective of me having this effect, so making sure it actually works. But sometimes it bugs out, which you need more perks for this to actually work, and it's kind of weird. So for the first minor augment for Quick Revive, it's also one of my favorites, which is called a Swift Recovery. When I go to revive an ally, it gives us both super speed, so we can get out of that area pretty quickly. This one is really good, and I really highly recommend it if you're playing co-op. Now for the second major augment for Quick Revive, which is called Equivalent Exchange. If you have Quick Revive while down, killing an enemy will revive you and remove Quick Revive. This can be done up to 3 times. So basically, I noticed that you need to have 2 or more perks for this to work. If you go down and get a kill, you will automatically get up. So make sure you have a couple more perks, because if you go down just with Quick Revive and get a kill, it's not going to work. If you have more than 1 kill, we tested this. So killing an enemy will revive you and remove Quick Revive. So this can be done up to 3 times, which is quite nice if you're playing with co-op. But I really think that this one is not the best options. EMT is kind of bad, and then Equivalent Exchange is okay. But the next one is going to be very good. So Karmic Return for the second minor augment for Quick Revive. Reviving an ally heals you to full health. This also heals you and your teammate, the one you revive, which is kind of cool because I did not know this. So it revives you kind of instantly. So if you're getting hit and you're trying to revive someone because you're getting hit from behind by zombies, as soon as you pick up that person, you automatically go up to full health. It applies to the person you're actually reviving, which is actually kind of badass. Now for the third and final major augment for Quick Revive, which is my favorite, from Dying Wish. This is actually from Black Ops 4, and this is probably going to be the best option because on lethal damage, become immune to all damage for 2 seconds and keep 1 health. Quick Revive is removed on use. So basically, instead of going down, your Quick Revive will basically go away. You'll be immune for 2 seconds and you won't be able to take any more damage. And after that, you basically get a free down. You have to buy Quick Revive a couple more times for this to be completely go away. I tested this. If you actually use all 3, I don't know if there's a limit on how many Quick Revives you can actually buy, but I had this done like 3 times and I still was able to buy Quick Revive. I don't know if it's bugged or anything, but it could be different inside of your games. But I think Dying Wish is definitely perfect one to do. The final third minor augment for Quick Revive, which is called a Slow Death, which is increase your time in last stand. It's self-explanatory. Basically, if you go down, you're gonna have a longer bleed out time. My time in last stand is gonna last longer, so someone has more time to actually revive me. So I think that Dying Wish is the best major augment. Then the best minor is, it's gonna be between Swift Recovery or Karmic Return. This is for you to decide, and this is just my opinion. All right, holy crap, that was a long video. This actually took me hours to edit. So if you guys can like the video and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification to never miss a video, and also like the video, that'd be more appreciated. Road to 2,000 subscribers, and comment below your favorite perk combinations below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.